Hafade Tirawami, and welcome to another episode of Marianas Stories, featuring ordinary people with extraordinary stories. And I'm so happy to be welcomed today at the home of an extraordinary lady in our community, Rosa Tudela Palacios, also known as Chailang or Auntie Chailang. And Auntie Chailang has invited us here to her home here in Tanapa. Is this Tanapa?
Atsugo.
And we are here in her backyard. Wow. Thank you, Auntie Chailang, for having us today.
Okay.
So, it's really nice to see you. It's been so long, no? Since
Yes.
you retired and since COVID. How are you doing?
I have my ups and downs, but I guess because of age, I think they said when you're growing older, you learn. There's a lot of experiences, a lot of joyfulness, a lot of sadness, and but then I really think of this: be always very joyful and never forget, in your own way, prayer is very important. Because sometimes it balances. It's nice to enjoy your life, beautiful, surrounding and like that. But as human being, at least 10 to 15 minutes, just reflection, be quiet. And I'm lucky I got the water here, so I have that chance just to kind of just listen to all these noises. Birds noises, even the Cairo, the frog, it has a nice sound, and the birds, oh boy, and the dogs. And luckily, because of the virus, no distraction of the tourists. But I kind of miss them too, because they will pass by and wave with their Russian, Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. So,
I love the fact that right off the bat, you're so full of energy, and I think everybody knows you for having this kind of very positive attitude. Where does it come from? How did you get to be such a joyful person, it seems like, in every situation?
Yes, no, it's very true. But I hope that, because I'm glad I'm mixed and you are mixed. Growing up, I didn't know, but my father is a very joyful man. My mother, very religious. And years later, I found out. I kind of, I was a nun, and for good 25 years, I entered very young, and I'm not really well versed, with all the cultures. But then when I left the convent, I married a guy from Boston. He's an Irish guy. And he asked me, he worked in the post office, Chailang, what is the difference of Chamorro and Carolinian? And spontaneously, because I have a clan Carolinian from the Fajusto, the Seman, the Kaipad, and the Litulumar. So growing up, I heard that, and I look, and when I look at the Chamorro, and I'm a Chamorro, but every time I go to these Carolinian boys and girls, I was teacher, they're always very joyful. And so my answer to this guy, a Bostonian guy, asking what is the difference, I said, the difference between Chamorro and Carolinian, I found out in my own experience that Carolinian are very joyful, always enjoying life and laughing. So my husband worked in the post office. And within almost a year, one day, supper time, usually the women, the nana, cook, and Uncle Bob tapped my shoulder. Chailang, you're right. And I said, what? I forgot about my, that the Carolinian, the difference is the Carolinian are very joyful. We're joyful Chamorro, but in my experience, I always realized the Carolinian, they're very joyful. I said, Chailang, Monday morning in the post office, everybody in line, and Uncle Bob said, hey, smile, it's good for your teeth. And then another person said, smile, and he will throw or she will throw back a funny story. So my husband said, excuse me, and then just looking at the last name, my husband realized the Chamorro last name and the Carolinians. So just to make sure, I said, you Carolinians? Said, oh yes, Uncle Bob. And Bob said, Chailan, you're correct. Monday morning, oh, that's Blue Monday, but the Carolinian would throw joke back to me. So, Atcha baby, isn't that beautiful joyfulness?
Definitely, joy is an important part of our lives, and we have a comment from one of our viewers who says, Sister Rose, you have not changed since I last saw you, looking good. A lot of people know that you were in public health. What is the connection between having a positive attitude and maintaining good health? Is there a connection?
See, earlier I mentioned about prayerfulness. I'm so proud. I entered very young the convent. You know, July 2nd, which is the visitation of our Blessed Mother. So I noticed nobody can enter the convent until July 2nd. So we asked, why July 2nd? We want to enter earlier. And said, no, it has to be, the Blessed Mother. And see, even in our culture, the whole world, mothers, they got a bigger heart, right? So I remember that, in the convent, one of our Blessed Mother, July 2nd, and like that, and my train of thoughts. What is your question? How do I find the joyfulness?
Is there a connection between having a positive attitude and having good health? And looking as beautiful as you do at 78?
79.
Oh, 79. I hope I look this good when I'm 79.
I think the connection really, the fuel of environment. Because I am the product, my generation, we didn't remember World War II. But we remember, we work hard, to fetch water. We have to walk like 1 mile or a little bit more, and then with a little bucket to get that. So walking there, you see all these old ladies, and the old ladies always, they enjoy the little kids. So I always talk with the old ladies, and they're always very nice to us. So that's one positive, Look, I say, I'm the youngest one. I have to carry this one because my sister, she's a teenager, and already she's embarrassed to carry the bucket to go fetch the military water. Like this, the pouch right on the road in Chalancanoa. And I open it, and then halfway I have to shout, come here and carry, because already it's too heavy. So that's one, positive with watching the elderly looking at us, and we amen them. And I love their blessing. Dios te ayude. And I never know what is Dios te ayude, but then the more I listen, ayuda, helpfulness, that God helps you. So always say, how nice, God will bless me. So I think it's the fuel of environment. And then because it's right after the war, 1948, I was 7 years old. It's all the neighboring. The kids, we're all poor. We don't have shoes. Could you imagine? Barefooted. And our parents have to make the shoes from this 2x4. I watched my father how to make that. So between sharing the neighbors, and even when you're gonna build the fire, that time our fire is just firewood. So that's why the kitchen has to separate from the house, because prevention not to have fire. So sharing, what we have is matches. So the neighbors will come and say, can we borrow you matches? And we bring. And sometimes when we don't have matches, we always, the fire, we always make it have, how you call that in English?
Like embers?
In burning woods. So imagine that one, sharing with that. So sis, sharing even the poor of the poorest. If all the neighbors really are very attentive to their neighbors, especially to the family, and this I learned. You learn it again from your mama. I said, Mom, how come you always helping these neighbors? And this is what she says. She said, my daughter, look at us. You're the youngest one, and you're and we're only 5. Look at our neighbors. 10 kids. And we should, even if we don't have much, but they need more than us, so we have to share even the little of the thing that we have. So all those things, and when you give, oh, what a joy! Even the tesson, I don't know how you say it in English, tesson. You know, that this red thing in the woods, when you barbecue and then the woods turn into red instead of this, the black thing that now we're buying in the store.
Charcoal?
Charcoal, but our charcoal is from the pine tree and very strong. So imagine that, sharing it to the neighbors. That's how poor we are, but rich in giving, even whatever poor we have. So kindness to the neighbors, that's what I learned. And it makes your heart so joyful. You say, hey, I can help, even with the tesson, the red thing. Yes, but living with elderly too, it makes you very kind of, you look at role model. Because I remember they always, they will gather in the house just for to come and mama or play the cards and write in that guafak. Guafak is a chamorro or Carolingan mat made from the pandanus. And they put all their cards, and you know what they use instead of that from the store, the round thing? They use the corn, the dry corn. So you see, even for me, this generation, they really miss the real McCoy from the nature. And then you're so happy because it's from the nature, the corn. You watch your older sister to soak that with the special lime, and then when it's dry and things like, so it's all from nature. And I think nature really help us to be very spontaneous, to be very healthy. At the same time, you grow. Our parents, my generation, they were all farmers.
You have a beautiful place here on the beach, and you also have a very beautiful garden with a lot of fruits and vegetables maybe and flowers. What is there a connection you feel? Do you spend much time out here enjoying nature, and how do you feel it affects you?
Okay, that is the beauty. I married an American, and I went, oh my God, right in the city of Boston, concrete jungle, and that's really kind of scared this simple woman. Look at, open, oh, coconut, banana, avocado, papaya, and breadfruit. And I come this concrete jungle. It's all concrete, and it's the heat. And so that kind of, I say, boy, very, it's strong, but kind of, it's not kind to your environment. So our environment doesn't look really, like this beautiful concrete house and like that. We got the pala, but Mother Nature, it invites you to be very positive. And really, the ocean to help me to really all, the sorrow. I have sorrow, illness and things like that. But I always said, hey, compare this to these Iranian kids, the war that, mothers and fathers that they're gone because of bombing, Syria and all these other places that we hear from, North Korea and things like that. And then you see here, we are here, less really, modern things, but we are more at peace and tranquil. What do you think?
I would agree.
Yes.
Well, since you asked me, thank you. I don't think happiness comes from so much the external things we accumulate, as long as we have food, shelter,
right,
and people who love us. I think that's already a full cup.
Yes. Yeah. We're not really materialistic. Remember that, growing up in a tiny island, open ocean, and growing up, only the panty swimming. But I remember the men, they don't go to enjoy the ocean. They work because we were so poor after the war. The whole hell in the Pacific, it's a movie about the Marianas. But because of this, the ocean is so open. It is not really the ocean for our ancestors and even my parents' generation. Hard job. You go and catch the fish. Now, our bikini, I don't wear bikini, but swimming suit. And now the ocean is to enjoy, relax, and exercise for your health, because whether high blood pressure or mampusaw zomuk, obesity, so you need to swim. But our ancestors, including my parents, the sea is not for fun for them. To find fish to feed their kids. Yes. What do you think?
True.
Yeah.
Talking about hardship, and you mentioned sorrow. We know that your husband passed earlier this year. What is the balance between having sorrow and disappointment and pain in our lives, and yet trying to be positive and have joy? How do you see it?
It's okay to cry, tears is wonderful.
Yes.
I really miss him because, we don't have kids. So we always, when it's time to, for dinner, we come here and we share. So that part I kind of, miss. But books will really help me to forget that, I'm a widow now. And no, I miss Uncle Bob and I cried. But then I just opened the books and I have several books. It's too bad I didn't bring. There's a books that my friend gave me, jokes to make you happy, humorous book. And there's a book about spirituality. And then a books just about, ordinary people and all over the world. So I learned so much by reading different books. Japanese, beautiful memoir. It's a beautiful books to read about the life of, these Japanese women right after the war. They think, I'm going to marry this because my life will be better. So books too kind of make me at peace, because I said they have all this life and they want to improve their life. But then they realize that the only time to kind of, just relax and then take your time to read books. And now with the virus, what I do before the virus, I go and visit the elderly, and I guess it's my clan, Diaz de Leon Guerrero, that from my mother's side. They're still alive, strong women.
Like yourself.
My aunt, my auntie from my mom's side, so I will go and visit, and I listen to her, and then I go to my first cousin. This is from my father's side, the Rosa Tudela Palacios. And I found out, as I said, the Carolinian were full of joy. Funny story. So that's how, too, I kind of, instead of, say, oh my God, I miss Uncle Bob, and like that. And that's natural. So I accepted that. Loneliness, too, could bring you to realize that without that, too, if you don't experience that, you cannot understand your neighbors or other people that are less fortunate. So that kind of, I never regretted it, suffering and illnesses, because that brings me closer to understand other people, because God bless me with a lot of, really, I'm healthy. So just by, having all these things, listening to, reading the books, and then I'm getting tired, I go and visit my elderly, Sinampao, Batsa, Palacios, and some of my cousin in San Roque. And so that's kind of, helped me to realize that I know one of these days, I'm 79 years old, I'm gonna, whether, I have something, illness, but I always thank the Lord that I'm healthy, so healthier than some of the other people. So that's why I'm kind of accept that I have to be joyful, though, even in the time that my Uncle Bob died. But yes, I miss that. I will not say that until we finish, because I'm a joker. So I have something for Uncle Bob, but not in this interview.
Okay, that'll be our secret.
Yeah.
In addition to sorrow, I would say one thing in my experience with you, don't think I've ever seen you get mad. I'm not saying you don't get mad, but I'm saying the times where I have seen you maybe get mad,
yeah.
or want to correct someone or
yeah.
something, or admonish, or even like scold, you do it in such a nice way. It's almost like you can't get offended, because it's like you're putting a lot of sugar and love on what you're saying. Why are you like this?
Okay, good. That's a very good. See, it's again. I'll go back to the environment. Remember, I'm the youngest one, and really in our culture, Chamorro Carolinian, they spoil you the youngest one. So I usually have the best one, the best time, and everything. So I think because of that, and second, I attributed it, and that's why I said I wish a lot of young people entered the convent or entered to be a brother or priest, because it's the training spirituality. Forgive one another, you know. So I guess coming from, I remember my grandparents from my mother's side. Mama lived to be 99 years old. Papa lived to be 90 years old. And I watch them, they are farmers, and they will bring things, a lot of things, fruits from the farm, and they give it to their son that have 16 kids. So see, that's how, you know, I see in that, in helping others and giving others. And second, remember I told you, I think it's in the blood, the Carolinian blood. My father is always a joyful man. And I believe in genes too. I mean, in our, you know.
Like maybe you inherit the character trait from your father.
Yes. And another thing too, as I said, I hope younger generation really, when you enter young, you're gonna laugh. They brainwash you. That's why the military said we want young people, because when you're young, you observe. So I guess by entering the convent very, very young, that really helped me, because they really taught us a lot of spiritual, to be kind, to be caring, and always to pray.
Come with me, Auntie Chela. We need to get out of the rain. This is the joy of going live. You never know what's going to happen, folks. We are running from the rain. Yes. But yes, okay, so you were saying?
So I guess it's that, that's why I believe in education. And since I was 14 years old, I was educated by the Spanish nun, how to be kind, how to pray. And just remember, when you pray and you read the Bible, you pray the rosary, you kind of remember, say, the old saints suffered so much. Our Blessed Mother, imagine a mother, right, to watch the Son crucified. So that's kind of, you know, so I believe in spiritual training and education. But I just found out from this intellectual nun, Joan Christister. She found out that they said education, you have to be educated, but at this modern time, it is not enough, because she found out that education and not open-minded is not very healthy. It's better a little bit ignorant, but your mind is open, because you balance the, how you call that, the right wing and the left wing, and Acha Bebe come to the center. Amen. What do you think?
Shailan, yes, absolutely. I really want to thank you for sharing with us today your perspectives on being positive and living a positive life. Any final thoughts before we go?
All right, the final thought is remain always at peace and very reflective on yourself and on others.
All right. Well, we've been chatting with Auntie Chailan here. Thank you, Auntie Chailan.
All right. Said in Carolinian, thank you.
Kiliso.
Kiliso.
And Acha Bebe.
Acha Bebe. And I believe it. The world is getting smaller. I would say Salamat, Cristo Chapu, and in Palau, oh my God, I was stationed in Palau, and Miikum, thank you, whatever. But our world is getting smaller, so we have to be very thoughtful too to our neighboring island.
Good words to
Amen.
end on.
Yeah.
Auntie Chalang and I have escaped to the Pala Pala here at her house in Tanapag.
At Sugao.
At Sugao.
Tanapag is over
oh
there.
my
and this
goodness.
Is, or in our,
we are in
yes,
Atsugao.
in Atsugao place. And then when the church built it, they named it San Roque. But growing up, this place is Atsugao until the Catholic Church built and they named it San Roque.
Got you.
Acha, baby. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
We'll see you next month for another edition of Marianas Stories. Take care. Bye-bye.